The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Now, the author of The Path of Least Resistance and The Tech Insider, David White.
And welcome to a beautiful January 28th at the headquarters of Technical Trading and Investing. It is TFNN.com, and it's just another gorgeous day down here in paradise in Clearwater as we watch another day that's just beautifully sunny, and you couldn't ask for yet a better day. We celebrate today the anniversary of logos. And it's going to be 55 years ago today that Kirk Christensen patented the local Lego brick, and I always had them as a huge toy as a kid. Hang on a second. Anyway, we've got I don't know how many people had kids. I had two presidents that were my favorite. Legos was one, and Lincoln Logs was another. The third was the little construction set that you made, the little crane, picked up things and put it back down, had a little crank on the side of it. I don't think toys tend to be this interactive these days, but it's going to be very interesting. So we will celebrate them, but I guess these Legos now do everything, include making Star Wars spaceships. We had to use a lot more imaginations with small rectangular objects. I remember every Christmas getting a few more, you could make something just a little better. But Legos 55 years ago today were patented, and I always thought that they were my favorite toy. In the news out here, what we want to be talking about is earnings. And, of course, Tuesday and Wednesday, we have the Fed coming out. So I think we're going to have very light trading during the day like we've had today. After the bell tonight, it's Lumina, Sanmina, and VMware. After the bell tonight, VMware is probably the one I'll be most interested in. They bought a small Israeli company that was really into virtualizing routers. And if you can think about somebody like Amazon or IBM or any of these other companies that are big in cloud space, why you can almost instantly reroute and set up things like how many servers you have. Setting up the routers in front of those servers is always somewhat problematic. If you can actually virtualize those and control them and change the routers almost instantaneously to a whole bunch of servers, boy, what a slick little deal you would have. And that's what that little company, the VMware, bought. Looking for comments tonight on whether or not that technology start to be built in some of the products they have. But VMware, basically the masters of virtualization software and hardware, and we'll see if they get moving out there. Don't expect a lot from the other two. Illumina probably getting fairly interesting in that biotechnology space of DNA sequencing, but I think we've got a lot farther to drop in the actual price of the units in that whole space. Sanmina, and we'll find out what they're doing. Tomorrow after the bell, Amazon, BXP, Broadcom, Ford, I think is in the morning. HOG after the bell, Harley Davidson, Tupperware, and VLO, Valero. On Wednesday, ABFS, which is I think Arkansas's best, AVB, which is a big ETF for real estate, Boeing, CTXS, COP, EA, FIO, LLL, Qualcomm, and Starworks Solutions. On Wednesday, Thursday, CPT, another housing real estate trust, Carboceramics, CRR, of course, they make a lot of the stuff for fracking. CTRP, Dow, Energizer, ENR, and kind of the equivalent of Best Buy, HGG, and PHM, SPF, T-Lab, which is Tel Labs, and Under Armour, UA on Thursday. What else do we have? Kind of interesting. Always got to be watching the Mideast in case it decides to start blowing up in our face. Very interesting that Russians continue to flee Syria as it continues to decay. Sounds to me like there's going to be more and more civil war there. And depends on exactly what the Russians are willing to do to keep us out of it. But I think we keep stirring the pot out there. But keep an eye on that. And Joseph Banks, don't even have this in there. Joseph Banks came out Friday night about 8:30 at night. Very rare to see anybody come out and talk about having a real problem and basically blaming everybody that has ever been associated with anything out there. I think we have, I mean, they were off like 20% today, but they were blaming the war, everything else. I think we have an audio clip of his apology there, if we can play that now.
You know I love you, baby. I wouldn't leave you. It wasn't my fault. Honest. I ran out of gas. I had a flat tire. I didn't have enough money for cab fare. My truck didn't come back from the cleaners. An old friend came in from out of town. Someone stole my car. There was an earthquake. A terrible flood. Locust. It wasn't my fault, I swear to God!
That's pretty much what the CEO sounded like. In fact, it may be exactly like he sounded like this morning when he started to explain why everything in the world happened all at once. And he wasn't responsible at all. But I think I probably just need to cut off the first part where he's talking about his girlfriend. Maybe that little sound clip would sound better. We're going to work on it to maybe spice up the show a little bit more. But anyway, Joseph Banks, J-O-S-B, just absolutely getting killed out today. A lot of jokes about what's going on in the company, but it's off 17% now. It was off as much as 20%. Joseph Banks, of course, the clothier, but just putting out a statement at 8:30 on a Friday night, trying to bury it when no one's going to be listening. Actually, in this case, kind of backfired against him, and everybody's wondering what else they were trying to hide in it. The technical term is document dump, and normally, if you're in the media, if you're a politician, and you don't want to talk about your illegitimate child, or you want to talk about the doping scandal you're involved in, you do it kind of late on Friday night after 6:30 to make sure the national news doesn't cover it. Most people are out on Saturday, and by Monday you can say, oh, that's old news from Friday, and you just shouldn't bring it up. Well, the investors didn't like anything that they had to say on that. But always look for that news on late Friday night. A lot of times they put some real doozies back in there. For the first time, a patent troll has lost with the one-click shopping cart type patents. A lot of these guys have been floating around. If you've ever used Amazon, they have a one-click kind of patent also that goes up against this. But Newegg, which is a big retailer of computer parts, I use them a lot, is actually one, and there's some other ones. But these patents tend to be and continue to be a huge problem with a lot of these online what would you call them? Just sellers of a lot of different stuff. But the whole idea of having one-click shopping and shopping cart stuff seems rather obvious to me. A lot of these patents are just ridiculously silly on the face of them. China is considering lifting a ban of video game consoles. This would help a couple of companies real big, but probably none better than Microsoft and their 360 and 720 platform. The 720 is coming out this fall. It'd be very interesting. If they do lift their ban, there may be really a just a huge stampede for a lot of people in China to buy these things, especially with the streaming capability and a little bit of the internet hooked in. Just keep an eye on that. But I have a feeling that game producers here in the United States and also probably Xbox would probably benefit the most if they do allow those game consoles back in China. We are going to have a ton of IPOs this week, starting off with Gladstone Land, a managed REIT planning to acquire agricultural real estate. LAND will be the symbol. Pretty small, 50 million, offering 3.3 million shares at $15. Kalo Bios Pharmaceuticals, which is going to be KBIO, which is developing monoclonal antibodies to treat respiratory diseases, which would probably help me, cancer, and plans to raise $50 million. Again, pretty small potatoes, 3.9 million shares, a price range of 12 to 14. Stemline Therapeutics, STML, will be the symbol. Biotech developing treatments that target cancer, stem cells, and tumor bulk cells. Plans to raise $25 million. Again, these are tiny deals out here. 2.3 million shares, a price range of 10 to 12 bucks. TriPoint Homes. Well, the symbol will be THP, a Starwood-backed single family home builder in California, plans to raise $176 million by offering 11.7 million shares, somewhere between $14 and $16. Again, very tiny deals out here this week, so not a lot to hang your hat on. The last one is Zoetis. ZTS is a spinoff of Pfizer, animal health medicines and vaccines, so basically pet stuff. Plans to raise $2 billion by offering 86.1 million shares at a price range of 22 to 25. So this is the Big Mac Daddy this week. Imagine it'll come out Thursday or Friday. ZTS is going to be the symbol. Of course, there is one that has been horrible. They've tried to push this thing out on the public. About as welcome as the plague. Autotrader.com withdraws its $300 million IPO. They've tried this 9 ways to Sunday. I think this is the third time that I've seen this thing pop up and then try to push this out on the public. No one's biting. And if you see this thing pop up again, maybe the one to short of all shorts, my guess is it goes to zero the day it comes out, if it ever does. But I'm pretty sure this is the second or third time this thing has tried to be pushed out to people. Who knows? But that's kind of the news right now. When we look at the market, it has been rather flat. They've tried to push it up since about 11:30, 11:45 on extremely light volume. We're off 1 point on the S&P cash with this 2.2 billion shares on the consolidated tape. We've got some other stocks out here that are fairly light, so we'll be talking about them and some surprises. You can always give me a call at 877-927-6648, 877-927-6648.
What type of investor are you? Conservative, moderate, or aggressive? No matter your investor personality, your overall portfolio should reflect your financial goals, time horizon, and your risk tolerance. Help ensure your portfolio is appropriately invested with an asset allocation plan from Morgan Stanley Wealth Management. Simply picking the right stocks is not enough. Research has shown that choosing the right proportions of stocks, bonds, and cash is essential to the success of your long-term investments. Morgan Stanley believes a carefully selected portfolio can lower volatility and increase investment return potential. Find out about what an asset allocation and a Morgan Stanley Wealth Management financial advisor can do for you. Call Angela O'Brien, First Vice President and Financial Planner of the Clearwater, Florida branch at 727-441-6108 today to discuss your personal financial needs. Asset allocation does not assure a profit or protect against loss in declining financial markets. Investments and services are offered through Morgan Stanley Wealth Management, LLC. Member SIPC.
with the launch of Tiger TV. TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Ken Shreve, David White, Larry Pesavento, Victor Jones, or Terrell Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN is proud to partner with Great Panther Silver for another exciting silver coin giveaway. The Great Panther Silver Super Silver Giveaway begins the week of January 28th and we'll be choosing 47 lucky winners. It's free to enter with absolutely no strings attached. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com today to fill out your entry form. Every hour that we're on the air, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. the week of January 28th, we'll be randomly choosing one lucky winner that will win a silver coin or bar from Great Panther Silver and TFNN. And the final hour of the week, Friday, February 1st, we'll choose 3 lucky winners. That's 47 winners in just 1 week with over $1,000 in silver given away to our loyal listeners. Register today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. And for more information on Great Panther Silver, you can click on their banner on the front page of TFNN.com or check them out on the NYSE Amex symbol GPL or on the Toronto Stock Exchange symbol GPR.
This segment is brought to you by Goldfields. For more information, just click the Goldfields banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And as we come back from the break, we want to announce our winner this hour. And it is Marty from Largo. He wins a half an ounce of silver, of Great Panther silver. And I encourage Marty to call in anytime, but we'll put that together and make sure that he gets his half ounce of the wonderful Great Panther silver out today. It's silver just a little bit better than any other silver. Of course, anybody can call at 877-927-6648, and we'll be glad to discuss it. We're looking at probably the movers here early today, but right now the stock that some of the things that are really interesting to me is the huge move off for natural gas today. What was it off? 13 cents or something? That's what is it? 35. Yeah, is that right? Let me find it here. 14 cents. Natural gas. We talked about this, and normally there's a huge bias in the winter. We've had a very warm winter. We've also had a problem in that the storages of natural gas, the fall was so mild that we had a huge, basically nowhere to keep any more natural gas out there. That continues to be a problem, and they continue to actually burn off or what they call flare, huge amounts of natural gas in the Balkan parts of Wyoming. In fact, I saw some of that on Google. Well, there's an article going around that you can see it at night. And it looks like Chicago, about as bright as Chicago at night on some of these Google Earth maps, where you can see just all of what's going on up there with that shale oil and the huge amount of oil coming out of those areas. UNG, of course, gapped down fairly succinctly today. Probably going to try to find a home back in around that gap at about $18, which should be support. But not a lot happening on that on other time frames. Let's see what else we have here. I wanted to look at the NASDAQ and see the movers in the NASDAQ today. And let's see what we have. RIM off about 8%. Of course, these are stocks that have been working on either huge short squeezes and in some cases just blow off tops in huge movements out here. But the usual suspects once again today. RIM is off 8%, Netflix 3.5%, MCP, Molycorp is off almost 3%. What do we have? Amazon off about 2.5%. Best Buy again, or BBBY, Bed Bath & Beyond off 2%. Flexera off 1.8%. We've got Green Mountain Coffee Roasters off 1.6%. Priceline off 1.6%. Akamai off 1.3%. So for a market going sideways, a lot of stocks having some significant movement. On the upside, Marvel is up at 945, up 3% today. Of course, another one in the short squeeze category is Sears Holdings, up almost 3%. Baidu up 2.6%. And what do we have? NVIDIA up 2%. Nuon Communications, which is the people that came up with Siri, NUAN, up about 2%. Maxim Integrated Circuits up about 1.8%. What do we have out there? Monster Energy. A lot of these are just the usual suspects, super highly short stocks that are bouncing around very heavily. So not a lot in that. One of the ones that I followed early on in the Tech Insider was 3D Systems. It's fallen off the edge of the earth. We were short this at just about $70 in the path of least resistance. We had to kind of hold through a couple of pushes to 72, and this thing did fall apart. What I want to point out in this one is probably a fairly decent indication of a three-gap play. And what is that? That is three gaps, and then the stock basically comes back to the starting point of the first gap. Now, what you are normally looking for is some move above a trading range, and in this case it's right around that $50 range. It breaks out and there's some decent volume on the second with the rest of the entire market, but your first actual gap up on any kind of volume was on the 18th of December, and you had 2.9 million shares on that date. That is probably going to be the target for this over time. Is it a huge move like today with the monster volume? It's going to probably turn this stock sideways somewhere between 55 and 59. It'll be very interesting how this comes out today. But this is when a stock gets so frothy and it just blows up overnight. We've seen it in Apple. We're now seeing it in DDD. We'll be back in a minute.
Just recently, on December 28th, Market Insight subscribers were advised to go long the QQQ, the NASDAQ 100 ETF, on December 28th at $63.91. And only 2 trading days later, after a huge jump in the markets, Market Insight subscribers were advised to sell the QQQ at $66.64 for a $2.73 or 4.27% profit to start off 2013. At the same time, Tom O'Brien had advised his clients looking for a more leveraged trade that they could could have initiated a position in the QLD, the ProShares Ultra QQQ ETF, and over the same 2 trading days, Market Insights subscribers were able to lock in a $4.48 profit or an 8.47% gain in just one trade. Get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during your free trial and pay nothing. Don't miss out on the next great trading opportunity in 2013. Act today. If you're an investor looking for a great weekly investment newsletter, then now is the perfect time to try out Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks. Every Tuesday, Ken breaks down multiple sectors in his weekly newsletter, Ultimate Growth Stocks, with a full in-depth report including specific trading recommendations within his model portfolio, charts, sector analysis, upcoming economic data, along with intra-week trading updates on newsletter positions whenever the market dictates. Right now, you can receive a full month, that's 30 days, to evaluate Ken's newsletter free of charge to see if it fits your trading plan. At less than $75 per month, Ken provides you with his expert trading advice that can pay for itself in no time. Take advantage of this great offer by signing up for a 30-day free trial to Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks today. Don't let this offer pass you by. Visit the front page of TFNN.com and sign up now. Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Crocodile Gold. For more information, just click the Crocodile Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And welcome back. We've got a caller. We're going to go right to Ken in Dallas. How you doing today, Ken?
Hello, how are you?
Pretty good. I got a question for you.
All right.
I haven't been down there for a while. When they show that sweeping shot of South Fork and you're looking right downtown, is South Fork actually that close to downtown Dallas?
I'm a native Dallasite, which is, of course, unusual.
It is.
It's kind of like Florida. Lots of people from the north come down here, and it's very rare to find someone who actually grew up here. And I'll be honest with you, I would have friends ask me, "Hey, have you been out to South Fork?" And I'd say, "No." I have no idea.
You have no idea?
Yeah, I think it's north of town, which is
you can see the helicopter shot shows the Omni as you come in, and it looks to me like from the south.
I know.
And so, but I'm wondering if it's just not doctored footage.
I think it's doctored footage.
Yeah. So I was just wondering. My mother bored me in San Antonio, but I didn't end up staying there very long. But interesting. I guess if everything goes to hell on a handbasket, I can always go to Texas, and we can all wave the Texas flag and leave the Union if things go too far bad. But anyway.
Yeah, according to our new senator, that's what it looks like is going to happen.
Yeah. Were you calling about Jabal?
Nope.
Okay.
I wasn't. I'm talking. I took a chance here since you're always talking about revolutionary technology that's a game changer, and I wanted to ask you about a chart on a game changer that you're not aware of.
Okay.
It's JBII. It's a little company that has actually figured out how to turn plastic back into oil, and they have the machines, and they work. And they've passed all the EPA-style certifications in New York State, which is the second toughest in the union, behind California. Their machines work, and the first installation is going in there at Rock 10 Corporation, who's got a big agreement with them. But anyway, their chart looks like it's breaking
Breaking out today?
I'm in it, and it's been turning up. You can see the volume turn on the 23rd, and then you can see it's broken ice. If you go back to the left in the chart, you can see that it's broken ice. It looks like you'll see the volume points in early June when it came down and bottomed out, where people loaded up right about there, June 1st through about June 7th. You see the volume points at about $1, $1.03, $1.01. And you draw a line 2 days ago, the top of the wick, or 3 days ago, the top of the wick on that big volume day. You'll notice on the big volume day that it had the top of the wick just short of ice. If you use June 6th, that draw a straight line across from that volume period there from the 1st to the 7th of June, you can draw a parallel line across, and you can see that it didn't quite touch it, but today it broke through that ice. And it's coming up on pretty good volume for it. It's not a high-volume stock because people haven't figured it out yet. And so my purpose of my call was to ask you, from a charting point of view, I think if it stays above 1, it might pull back, but if it stays above and retests ice, I think it's going to go all the way up to about $1.45. And I was curious what you thought. And secondly, I wanted just to clue you in and your listeners to what I think is a revolutionary technology that really is a game changer, which is, of course, your theme that you talk about all the time. And it's the ability to turn plastic back to oil.
Yeah, I'm sitting here reading about it. The company has 2 operational PO2 processors. Byproducts.
They actually turn it back. It works.
Yeah, it says. Do you know what the cost though is of doing that?
Yes, they claim and they're very tight-lipped. Have you ever seen the movie Tucker?
Yeah.
It's about when he tried to come out when Jeff Bridges plays the part of the guy who's trying to break the back of the auto industry.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty much facing that, I think. And so they're very tight-lipped, but they claim the costs are less than the cost of a barrel of oil. And furthermore, since the plastic has already been put through the necessary EPA standardizations and what have you, it's extremely low sulfur when it comes out for fuel.
I'm just trying to find out. There's not a lot here to their books, so it's kind of hard to figure out what they do. According to this, they are actually an Ontario-based company in Canada, and that's why they're
Canada and Niagara Falls.
Yeah,
they're on both sides there. They have a plant on the Niagara Falls side and a plant headquarters across in Canada.
Yeah,
the production plants in Niagara Falls.
Their website, if people want to look at it out here, I'll actually put it on Tiger TV, is plastic2oil.com. I haven't checked this company out, so you really want to be looking at their books to see whether they're real or a lot of hype. But sounds interesting. I'll have to check them out a little bit more.
I wanted you to. That's why I got in touch with you, because I thought, it's about time for Tommy's, especially since the plant that's going in, the first one, is with Rock 10 Corporation. New York Stock Exchange Company has cut them a deal and done the research. As a matter of fact, the management of the company has now been former Rock 10 waste management personnel. The people who are in charge of waste management up there in plastic reprocessing for Rock 10 are now in the management positions up at P2O, and they're steering this towards North America-wide installations as fast as they can get it done. And it's just I think the reason it's going up is they're just on the brink of coming out with the game changer type announcements and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wanted to look at the chart.
The one thing that bothers me is it didn't test 52 cents, which had 2.4 million shares on January 5th. It got down in there, but the volume is so low. I mean, it's what, 1/20th of that low when it got down to 64 cents. So you can pretty much, if I would have seen that, I would have bought the low too on it. And
I know.
But it didn't break that. It didn't break that low, which is probably didn't show up on my scanner. So, I
did.
Huh?
I did.
Yeah. So it's not a bad looking chart, and as long as the market holds up, you're okay. If the market turns against you, this thing is going to go right back to probably 52 cents. And
what do you think the top side of the range is? If it continues up the way it's going right now, having broken this first peak, going back, I can see your chart now on screen.
148, 140. You've got all those. The next big congestion zone is going to be 144, 149, and 148, all through that July 3rd, the May 29th, and the May 15th highs of last year. So you've got, about 30 cents, something like that above this. The problem I have is a lot of these stocks that even might be interesting are blowing apart. When you see Apple blow apart, and then we see some of these other ones that are having blow-off tops, like 3D Systems and some of these other ones, they make me extremely worried that we're getting extremely frothy. And I think why I like this specific chart, you need two things for it to happen. The market needs to stay up, and you need to see oil do well also. Actually, oil prices go higher. So we're right at the top of the oil chain, top of the oil, at least crude oil, in my opinion. And I'm short it right now. It doesn't have to go much higher to break and prove me wrong. So I've got a fairly short stop in it, and actually played it with options. But if crude breaks higher, then you probably have 144 out here. The volume, isn't any, you'd like to see 1 million shares or something as it goes through this to make you think you're going to get that $2 high, which is probably where it's going to next if it can break the 150.
I think 144 is about where I was looking at. About 144 or 145 is the next where I'm aiming at for the first leg of the move.
Yeah, if this thing's real and crude busts higher, then you're right back up to the $2 mark actually. So that's just going to where it's going to stop first. But any kind of over $100 a barrel oil for West Texas really drives this thing back up into that $2 range, and that's you had that huge, just monster move out there. You know what the news is that drove that?
Yeah,
huge
I knew what
down
happened.
day?
I was going to tell you if you let me back up a second on it. What happened was they had I think it was what do you call it, a Wells notice from the SEC, and it turned out to be pretty much bogus. And they just last week, I think this major move that we're beginning to see right now is due to the fact that basically the SEC backed off and gave them a hand slap, the smallest possible fine they could give them. And because it really was once the period of time between when the major move occurred, and you'll notice on the bottom of the move there, the people who knew what was going on, like I was watching it, we stepped in and bought because we knew it was. I figured it was bogus, and it's just taken this long to unwind. And last week, they came out with the SEC saying, "Well, we're going to give you basically the smallest possible fine we can give you and get on down the road." No. And I think people realize that, therefore, the technology works, and the SEC is not hanging over their heads, and I think it's about ready to go.
Yeah, the only thing I like on this, or dislike too, let me put it this way, you may have had enough time. Normally, when you get those huge volume day down, you get exactly what this chart shows, which is a long consolidation out here. And a lot of times, this is a great trade. Unfortunately, most people don't have the wherewithal to hold this thing for 3 months or whatever it's going to take, because a lot of times this thing just gets very, very choppy in these kind of moves. And eventually, it'll break back up, and you get your $2 and $2.50 out of it if this thing is real. And that's the big problem, I think, is that while you got in pretty good out here, a lot of times to actually cash in the way you should in these, it takes 3-6 months of holding these things to get it. So I don't know what your time horizon is on holding this.
My net average cost is like 83.5 cents.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering how long are you going to hold this while it bores you to
I'm a
death?
trader. I'm going to be in and out. I'm in and out of this thing.
Okay. I mean,
I play the waves. I listen to you and watch what you do, and it makes a lot of good common sense. And I've got Tommy's book, and I've been following him for years now. And so I just basically apply the fibs to it and figure out where to buy and sell. And since I understand the butterflies now, the Gartleys, I basically apply them to it, and I basically make buy and sell. I never get completely out of the position, but I make money on it as I go.
Okay. Good enough.
Well, I think it's a good one, but I wanted you to know because you're the number one advocate of game-changing technology.
Well, we'll have to check it out and make sure it's real. There's been a couple of companies like this in the past, and they've all kind of gone out of business. So I'll take a look and see. Eventually one of these guys is going to be real. But when you look at a $1 company, you always have to be kind of nervous out there.
I know.
Okay.
I appreciate your time. You've been very kind, and again, I listen to you all the time, and I learn every single time I listen.
Good enough. You have a great and wonderful day. Anyway, if you would like to call in, you can at 877-927-6648. You never know what we're going to talk about out here. I've been watching the market for a while and kind of interested to see what's going on out here. Talking to Tom after the Tech Insider show, and we were kind of talking about Gartley patterns out here, and we were seeing it kind of in Toll Brothers. Maybe I don't have the right time frame out here, but I noticed that it's giving us kind of a little reversal. I thought maybe I don't know what happened out here, but it's giving kind of a little bit of railroad tracks out here, a reversal signal. I was just talking to him after the show about whether or not the end of the housing market, at least for a while, may be over. It's just like any kind of long-term bull market, and that is even in gold. You'll have a start, and then you'll have a year and a half where it does nothing or bores you out of it, and then you forget about it. Then gold goes from $700 to $1,000 all in one shot, and then everybody gets bored with it for a while, and then of course it takes off again. And I don't think housing is going to be any different. What I've been noticing in Toll Brothers and looking is whether or not we're going to get a sell signal on the September 21st high, $37.08, 4.6 million shares. Last couple of days we were 3.6, and probably going to be even lighter than that. We went a little higher. We're going to close a little lower. You get a little bit of railroad tracks out here, and I'm thinking this thing could fairly, over time, move back into that 3250 range, which might be an excellent opportunity to once again get back in there. There's kind of a little Gartley pattern out here. Not exactly sure why it's not picking it up here today, but we'll think about it. Anyway, we are basically setting up. You came in there with 1 million shares lighter, and market could pull back a little bit, no big deal. I am expecting something a little bit bigger just because I start seeing a lot of these stocks that tend to be blowing away what's going on out there. The kind of stocks like Apple, DDD today. There's some other ones that are lining up that I think are going to be fairly effective. We're going to have to watch what the close does today. But light volume tomorrow, Wednesday, ahead of the Fed meeting. We've got a bond market that's getting very interesting, and I think it's going to drive the rest of the markets out here. We've got a crude market at the point where it's make or break, and you've got just a lot of things going on out here that make me think we're going to get some action probably the last half of this week. We are going into fund buying. We'll talk a little bit about that when we get back. You can also give me a call at 877-927-6648.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to tfnn.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
Tom O'Brien's weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, has helped subscribers for over 10 years navigate the high-risk world of exploring and producing gold companies. And now's a great time to sign up for a free month-long trial to see the kind of insight that Tom delivers for his subscribers on a weekly basis. Every Monday, Tom O'Brien issues a quick update on the metal market, giving you his take on the HUI, XAU, GLD, dollar, bonds, and much more. Tom follows Monday's update with a full gold report, which is delivered to subscribers Tuesday afternoon with detailed coverage of 24 separate gold or metal stocks, as well as another 10 to 15 stocks that he lets you know are on his potential watch list. Get your month-long free trial to the Gold Report today by visiting the front page of tfnn.com. Don't spend another year navigating the metal markets on your own. Act early in 2013 and make the most of your gold and metal market investments. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to tfnn.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Let me tell you something, folks. I have people coming up to me saying, I just can't believe the amount of work that Steve does on his newsletter. And I says, I absolutely agree.
That is a recent clip from the Money Masters show that Tom and I do each day at TFNN. My newsletter service, Mastering Probability, is much, much more than a newsletter. Yes, it's outperformed the S&P 500 by 100% during the last 15 months. But more importantly, it's an extraordinary education, a roadmap for your success. And it's yours risk-free for the next 30 days. Just go to the homepage of tfnn.com and click on my name, Steve Rhodes, and then Mastering Probability, because everyone needs a success strategy. For most, it's a competitive edge, the will to win, the drive to overcome any obstacle. Whatever you call it, winners find a way. Find your way to Mastering Probability today, because your journey to extraordinary rewards is just one click away.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at tfnn.com.
As we look at this market again today, it's very interesting, very light volume. In fact, probably from about 12 to 1:30 vapor volume. I was looking at stocks moving in minutes in 100 of shares. I mean 100 shares 2 minutes later, 3 minutes later, and normally pretty active stocks. It started to pick up just a little bit more, 2.45 billion shares on the consolidated New York Stock Exchange tape. I would really like to see something like 5.5 billion up here at the top to make us think that this is not just a test of a previous top on-lighter volume. The question comes to being, what do we else have going on out here? Maybe the Fed comes out and they've already started talking about sooner rather than later pulling back some of the accommodation. Some people believe it's jawboning. Very, very tepid moves up here at the top, though, and seeing a lot of stocks try to move up at these highs and some blow apart. Apple, AAPL, I want to look at it real quick to see if we have anything else. We finally came down. We've started to enter a gap. That gap came from the 25th of January of 2012 with 34 million shares. We, of course, got into that the last few days with just a ton of volume. But this is the first support level we're going to have for a little while. Most ABCs show us coming back into the 380, 390 level, and there's a bunch of gaps back in there. But a lot of support at 422, 426 from previous highs going back to the September 20th of 2011 and the October 17th high of 2011. So, you know, maybe $10 farther down. We had a nice little bounce out of here today, but I suspect we're probably going to work down over the next few days into these levels. You're going to need a whole lot less than 25 million shares for Apple to hold there and not get back into those lows of 380, but maybe becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy in some of these. We do have Ford coming out, and one of the other stocks that has me scratching my head is with very light volume up here at the top is Genuine Parts Company, GBC. The original February 21st of 2012 high was $66.43, 1.6 million shares. We come into that with 1.2 million shares and very light, probably going to be a lot based on that. If Ford really came out with some blowout numbers, we'd be looking at that fairly strongly. HAL, which is Halliburton Company, is another one that's right up here on this ledge. I think that a lot of these oil production companies are right at the mark. And we'll know probably this week whether or not these are ready to break out or if it's back into the trading range. Right now I'm looking at volumes that suggest back into the trading range. The real estate index fund, very light movement up here at these highs. 1, 2, 3, 4 dojis now, maybe a little hammer out here today. But we've got the September 14th high of 2012 with 8.6 million shares. We came in just a little light, and you had like 17 million shares back on the 18th. But the stock really didn't go very far. I hate to see these high volume moves without much movement in the stock. It's continued to creep up higher out here. But on Friday, we have about 6 million shares out here. And we'll find out how this ends up today. But these are starting to make me a little scared. Soda may be one of these other companies that out here that looks like they may be heading into a blow-off top. This thing looks like could make a nice reversal up here at the top also. So I'm thinking we've got either a pullback or a top in place. I am short in several stocks out here. Not short any of the indexes just yet. Think that will come on Wednesday. Anyway, you all have a great and safe day. We will see you same bat channel, same bat time tomorrow.